Proceed, Senator Omuga.
My mic, yes. Yes, so, yeah, finally, Madam Speaker, as I conclude, Madam Speaker, I hope that the process that we have begun in Busia on moving a constitution amendment bill so that we give the Senate of the Republic of Kenya a role in budget making process will see the light of the day. I remember hearing somebody make a contribution some times back to the effect that the Senate in the United States of America never considers budget making process. And I think it was Senator Cheruiyot who made that comment, that in the US, the Senate is not involved in budget making process. Nothing can be further from the truth. As we speak, Madam Speaker, there is a shutdown in the US.
As Order, Senator Omogeni, we are contributing. We are not contributing on the constitutional amendment bill by the Senate. Senator Omogeni, please don't go there.
Yes. Madam Speaker, I was just tying my contribution to what is in Article 10 of our Constitution. You know, we must keep on drumming. That bill is very progressive. And the Kenyan people are being given an opportunity to enhance the legislative mandate of this House. And now that we are in Busia, Madam Speaker, it's good to get just 1 minute to comment about that bill so that we rally support from all the 47 counties. What a better way to begin that call for support than to begin from the county of Busia. You know, Madam Speaker, if you look at the proposals I've seen from the Kenya Rural Roads Authority on road projects, my county has been left out. There's not even one.
Senator Mogeni, I'm calling you to order now. What you're discussing is not what you're supposed to be discussing, so now you please close. Senator Mogeni, please don't try to persuade me further. You know what to do if you want us to discuss the bill you want us to discuss. Thank you.
You know, Madam Speaker, when you handle us very well, we shall propose you to go to the County Hall of Fame when you give us a chance to sort some.
Order, Senator Commissioner. Are you trying to, let me not say.
Yes. So in conclusion, Madam Speaker, the point I was making is that I fully support this bill. The people of Nyamira will remember me and propose me to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. If I fight for fairness and equity, that's how I try to create a page for myself, Madam Speaker. They will remember that I fought for the tea farmers. I fought for them when we were left out on the road projects. What better way to find my way into this bill other than highlighting the issues of concern for the great people of Nyamira, Madam Speaker. With those remarks, Madam Speaker, I support.
Senator Mariam?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, I first congratulate Senator Miraj for coming up with this bill. Madam Speaker, this shows that nominated senators are working. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, one of the bill, the one which I really wanted on section 20 on the offenses, this shows that if anyone falsely honored, it has a commitment, an offense, committed an offense and is liable and convicted to fine not exceeding 1 million shillings or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years or both. Madam Speaker, there is another one of the removal from the County Hall Fame, which is also in section 16.
Senator Matthew and Majority Leader, please consult.
Section 16, subsection number 2, which say the governor should suspend or revoke the induction of the person into the county hall of fame under the subsection 1, which is number C, the committed offense and is sentenced to term of imprisonment of not exceeding 6 months. So, Madam Speaker, to my knowledge, it must be the same 6 months, and the other one is saying 1 year. It must be the same imprisonment figure. Madam Speaker, in my area, today when we are honoring so many people here, there is a teacher, Teacher Farah, who was about the security issue. There is a bus of which Al-Shabaab stopped, and they segregate people as religion. But he himself, he said, that cannot. You cannot separate people, and if you wanted to separate, first kill me, and after that, do what you wanted to do. In fact, he stood with his position. He was first shot to death, and after that, they did what they did, Madam Speaker. So such kind of people must be honored, that in our security, that such kind of people must be honored. Madam Speaker, if there is no such kind of policy, which Senator Miraj think about it, Madam Speaker, it will help people, our people to be honored. Madam Speaker, if you go to Madera County, there must be a recreation or cultural facilities or museum. Madam Speaker, in that county, there is none. So our culture is no more, Madam Speaker. But if this bill passed and county governments are act on this, Madam Speaker, our culture will be upheld and will be recognized in all parts of the world. Madam Speaker, everything has been the remark for Madam Speaker, for all those remarks, I support the bill. Thank you.
Senator Eddy.
Madam Speaker, I'm very proud of my sister, Senator Miraj. I just came with Senator Miraj from Peru. And in Peru, Madam Speaker, when we were in Peru, Senator Miraj was struggling so much in Lima to take all possible photographs of any statues she saw around Lima. Some of the statues she cannot even explain who these people were, but they were just nicely done in a way that you can be able to connect with that city in terms of the people who might have made a contribution in that city. I had to explain for her some of these people, but that said, Madam Speaker, there are counties in this country, Madam Speaker, that if you go to, you should be able to connect with your history. You should be able to connect with the successes that our forefathers did indeed bring. It is a shame, Madam Speaker, and I don't know that Senator Cherargei is here. It is a shame that today if you go to Nandi, for instance, Madam Speaker, there is no anywhere you can be able to think about Koitalel Arap Samoei, somebody who actually fought for independence through a serious contribution that made it possible for the people then to be able to fight for independence, Madam Speaker. If you go to different counties, I don't want to go through all of them, Madam Speaker, but even if you go to the coast, some of the wonderful ladies that fought for independence for this country, Madam Speaker, have been lost in history, Madam Speaker. This is why somebody called Julius Caesar said that sometimes the good that people do are buried with their bones, but then the bad that they do stay with them forever, Madam Speaker. Why can't we, as a community, as a country, be able to start ensuring that we can be able to recognize those who make contributions that can be able to inspire future generations to also do better and make a better country? This bill is very important, Madam Speaker. But there are some clauses, Madam Speaker, that I wanted to look at that I think that could be important. But the first one, Madam Speaker, is clause number 6, I think so, that talks about the composition of that committee, Madam Speaker. I don't think that on this issue of creating Hall of Fame in counties, Madam Speaker, you can leave it as a derogatory of just the executive, the people who perhaps are elected. I think the more diverse this is done, Madam Speaker, the better it is for the country, Madam Speaker, and the better it is for avoiding the bias. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, you'll find that a few people who perhaps have gone and made a small chant, like maybe one time, on the streets, then are being made to be in the Hall of Fame if they are friends with the governor, Madam Speaker. This thing must be a place where there is proper criteria established by a diverse group of people, Madam Speaker, that can even include faculty, community members, and then they can be able to establish proper process for which you vet, nominate, and if possible, you can even vote to make sure that by the time somebody goes to a Hall of Fame, Madam Speaker, it is indeed something that is worth their merit. Madam Speaker, I come from Migori County. And Madam Speaker, I don't know whether you've realized that Lilian Odira, the lady who has actually broken the world record in the middle distance running of 800 meters, Madam Speaker, comes from Migori County. And not just a world record, Madam Speaker, Lilian Odira has broken a 42-year record, Madam Speaker. Why should she wait for this process by somebody like the people in this committee, Madam Speaker? If you look at that clause, only as the county executive member responsible for culture and heritage, clerk of the county assembly, and then chairperson of the county public service board, and then again 2 people who are nominated by the chair of the county public officers nominated by the county public service board, Madam Speaker. Is it a thin committee that might not have the worldview of pride that we have on people like Lilian Odira, Madam Speaker? So that the criteria that these people might develop should not only be left to them developing the criteria, but if you can be able to expand this committee to be a little bit diverse, we can be able to think about people who automatically actually merit to be able to be given these recognitions, Madam Speaker. Because I think somebody like Lilian Odira, or somebody like Faith Kipyegon, or somebody like Beatrice Beatrice Chebet, who won the double, Madam Speaker, should not be able to even go through this kind of process. It should be an automatic kind of recognition, so that if somebody travels today to Kericho, Madam Speaker, and they come from Turkana, they can be able to actually be inspired by what these wonderful athletes have done. And if somebody was to travel to Migori today, Madam Speaker, they can be able to be reminded on the industry and the yearn for excellence that people like Lilian Odira have had, despite the fact that they come from very humble background. They come from backgrounds that sometimes don't allow them to get the best equipment possible to perform, Madam Speaker. Second to this, Madam Speaker, usually with this kind of Hall of Fame comes a serious issues to do with budget and financing. There is no proper clause here, Madam Speaker, that talks about a process that can be able to resource mobilize to make sure that we don't just do something that is within the merit of a county. Because some counties, Madam Speaker, might not have enough resources to do something that is dignifying to these individuals. I think there's opportunity here that we can be able to expand that clause number 11 on the induction into the Public Hall of Fame to include the idea of resource mobilizing, Madam Speaker, because it's not just about recognition, Madam Speaker. It should be a recognition of pride. It should be a recognition of dignity, that standards must then be established, that if you are recognizing somebody who has done excellent in Mombasa, where Senator Faki comes from, and you recognize somebody else in Turkana, is the kind of recognition that has been given there dignified to the extent that can bring national pride, not only to the people of that county, but to the people of other places, from other counties. So I think that that clause 11 through 12, we can explore with Senator Miraj and see whether we can be able to expand it further to make sure that there's proper resourcing, there's proper budgeting instruments, so that the standards that are established in those different counties, Madam Speaker, can be a little bit elaborate, Madam Speaker.
The last part I wanted to talk about, Madam Speaker, is I didn't see in this bill, Senator Miraj, how we can be able to connect this to the issue of, Project Kenya. For instance, we talk about, sometimes we talk about the image of the country. And I think that how can we then invest in clause number 14, where the selection committee receives petition under section 13, and prior to that forwarding its recommendation to the governor, can we be able to forward proposals about promotion and maintaining the Hall of Fame for particular counties to the national level? Because with that, there are some of these people, especially when you think about sportsmen, Madam Speaker, sportsmen, with that, there can be opportunity to create even endowments that can be able to build a facet for which those people champion for. If, Madam Speaker, for instance, if Lilian Odira, we are building a Hall of Fame about Lilian Odira, is there a way we can promote those kind of people who are in our counties in the national level and in the international level to keep on building back into the resource equation for that particular county? So that somebody like Senator Cheriot, where he comes from, I think that he has got probably some of the many people who are in who could merit to be in a Hall of Fame, as well as Senator Cherargei. But those individuals can actually also be a bait for resources to that county if this was put together with promotion mechanism as well as maintenance of those places, Madam Speaker. So I think this is a very good bill, Madam Speaker, that will help the country appreciate our heroes and heroines, and therefore we support, and I beg to request that I will be moving some amendments in the areas that I've touched to make sure that we can make this lasting. I thank you, Madam Speaker, as I see that other people also want to contribute.
Senator Okenyuri, can I request for those who are left, if you can indulge the next people by speaking for a short time, if you can.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll actually be very brief, but first let me just congratulate...
Order, senators. Senator Eddie, can we please not consult in the manner we are doing? Let's have some silence.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, I wish to congratulate Senator Miraj for being among the outstanding young legislators we have in this House. And this idea of the County Hall of Fame is timely. To me, I feel this is also an opportunity to strengthen the National Heroes Council so that they are in a position to liaise with county government to execute this. Madam Speaker, when you actually look at people who get awarded, are people who've done outstanding activities or initiatives. This will be a keyword to the ones who are missing out currently, maybe from the national government, for failure to recognize them, so that counties will now have room to recognize and appreciate individuals who are outstanding in different aspects, be it athletics, the sporting, academics, and very many other aspects, Madam Speaker. My only worry is on how the selection committee is going to be, how competent enough, so that we are not just awarding people who whatever they're engaging in is not sustainable. You should award someone who's engaging in an initiative that is sustainable, not awarding someone in a one-off. They're not able to even give back after getting awarded, Madam Speaker. So in light of time, allow me to just be brief.
You are behaving in a disorderly manner. Senator Kisang. Proceed, Senator.
So in summary, I just wish to appreciate the sponsor of this bill for deeming it fit to come up with such a proposal that I feel like should now give room to the ones who have not been accommodated at national level. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I don't know why Senator Ndama is really persuading me to speak for 5 minutes. I thought I have 20 minutes, but I'll try to condense my thoughts to align to that time that he wants us to speak. But I want to first congratulate my age mate, Senator Miraj, for such a thoughtful bill. And Madam Speaker, yeah, she's my age mate. Of course, a little older than me, but we are in the same age set. And Madam Speaker, more often than not, most of our heroes in the counties and in the Republic, people who have served the nation in different capacities, Madam Speaker, we often forget about them. Just this afternoon, Madam Speaker, the Speaker who was on that chair read out the distinguished names of sons and daughters of this county, Busia County, some of whom I didn't even have an idea come from this particular county. I didn't know, Madam Speaker, that Victor Wanyama comes from Busia. If this information was anywhere in the Hall of Fame of this county, it would be very easy, especially for the generations that will come after us, to be able to get to know the people who have served the nation, the people who have served the community in different areas of the economic, social, scientific, academic, public administration, governance, sports, journalism, business, security, and many other fields, Madam Speaker. I'm sure, Madam Speaker, you may have heard about Catherine Dereva. Catherine Dereva is a very celebrated marathoner who have won a silver medal in the Summer Olympic Games of 2004 and 2008. The first Kenyan woman to achieve that feat, Madam Speaker. But you may not know that she comes from Nyandarua. She actually comes from Nyandarua. You may have heard about John Ngugi, a man who won the 1988 Summer Olympics 5,000 meters, and also the 1987 All African Games 5,000 meters, Madam Speaker. And if our children, Madam Speaker, do not get to know about these heroes who have lived and who have worked and who have brought tremendous respect and honor to our counties and our countries, Madam Speaker, they may be forgotten. You, of course, know about the story of Samuel Wanjiru, the Olympic medalist.
Senator Faki, I think the members are becoming very disorderly in this house. Yeah. You should know better. Continue, Senator.
But Madam Speaker, you may need to relax the rules a bit. We are very excited to be in Busia, so sometimes we are forgetting. Busia is such a good place. Food here is in plenty. I've been told by Senator Sifuna that food is in plenty. Yeah, food is in plenty. I've been told by Senator Sifuna. So I'm waiting to finish this session so that we can get to understand where the plentiness of this food is, because I didn't see it last evening. Now, Madam Speaker, you might have heard about, or rather, I'm sure you have heard about Stanley Waithaka, the 2018 bronze medalist in the IAAF Diamond League. He comes from Nyandarua. If we do not induct such noble ladies and gentlemen, Madam Speaker, they will be forgotten. The generation that is coming up may not remember that once they lived the Kapenguria 6, Madam Speaker, one of whom was Kongo Karomba. Kongo Karomba comes from Nyandarua. If you ask my daughter who Kongo Karomba is, unless they have learned in their history lessons, Madam Speaker, they will never even remember. And many other people, Madam Speaker. One of the most celebrated generals I know Senator Sifuna hears about and always wants to liken me with is Dedan Kimathi. Dedan Kimathi Wachuri comes from Nyandarua, and more specifically comes from Jambini, the village that I come from. So the blood of Dedan Kimathi Wachuri is still around, and the spirit of Dedan Kimathi Wachuri is still around. That's why we want to pick it up from where he left. We continue fighting for freedom in whatever other capacities that we can be able to fight. His wife, Madam Speaker, Mukami Kimathi, and many other people. Maybe finally, and I know Senator for Homa Bay, who has been my chairman.
Is there a point of order? What's the point of order, Senator Eddie? What is the point of order?
Mr. Speaker,
if there's a point of order, we cannot send the two senators of us. So, Mr. Speaker, you've had, it's a matter of fact, you've had Senator Methu implying that the spirit of General Kimathi lives in him. But Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, if you look at Methu who runs from tear gas,
Senator Eddie, I did not
can
hear
you?
any implication. You can't hear an implication. Please withdraw or give a proper point of order. Senator Methu.
Madam Speaker, I've just implored on you to indulge. People are very excited and very happy. Sometimes they are hearing things that have not been said. And I was talking to Senator Kajwang, my chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, because he told me that once a member, always a member. He, of course, knows Senator, the first Senator for Nyandarua, Engineer Muriuki Karue, the father of CDF, a very celebrated feat in this republic. Many of us may not agree with the Constituency Development Fund, but that was a creation, that was a thought of a son from Nyandarua, Muriuki Karue. If we don't celebrate these individuals, Honorable Speaker, they will be forgotten. And I also would want to inform senators, just as I mentioned, when we were welcoming the people who are on the Speaker's gallery, even those of us who are in this House, serving in many other capacities, Honorable Speaker, will not serve forever. All of us are mortal. One day will not be here. And whatever impact we have created, if it is not documented, if it is not inducted, especially for those of us who will be reading well, I'm very happy about the person who spoke about inducting people in the Hall of Fame of counties, that if you are adversely mentioned, we should not be inducted. Why are you inducting a person who is corrupt? You have been inducted into the Hall of Fame, and you have like 10 corruption cases with the ESCC. There's nothing to celebrate about you. These are the people that should actually be included. I don't know how, Senator Miraj, you also have an introduction of induction into the Hall of Shame for those who bring disrepute to positions that they have been given. If you have been given a position of leadership, for example, and you have brought I don't want to use that word that have been used. You have brought Madhokodhanio, that's not parliamentary. You should be inducted into the Hall of Shame so that we can be able to shame those people who do not live up to their mandate. Maybe, Honorable Speaker, because we are in the mood of recognizing the people who have done well, I think it is fair that I also congratulate. And you need to rain on Senator Dama, who is constantly asking me to finish. I still have a lot of time. I still have a lot of time, Madam Speaker. Please protect me from Senator Dama.
Order, Senator Ledama. Let Senator Methu make his contributions and within his time.
And you must remind Senator Dama that this wisdom is very rare. So when I'm exuding this wisdom.
Order, Senator Methu. Proceed with your presentation, please.
It should give me time to pump a lot of knowledge on this floor of this House. But I also want to be conscious of time because there are many things. But Senator Miraj, just like many people have actually pointed out, on Section 6 of your bill, I think something needs to be done. The formation and the composition of the selection committee is something that you may need to relook and introduce and induct, an amendment. Because as it is now, it looks like this selection committee is a creation of the county executive. Because the first person is a CEC member for culture and heritage. The second person is the clerk of the county assembly. The third person is the chairperson of the county public service board. The fourth two people are people who have been nominated by the county public service. So in a committee that has 5 people, 4 are from the county executive. So therefore, in the days, if this bill was to be implemented, a person like Senator Cherargei in the current setting of things shall never be fitted into the Hall of Fame. Because if you don't agree with your governor, and this committee has been formulated by your governor, they will always say that he's too short, he's too whatever, and they will not be able to induct him, and he has done so much. He has done so much, Honorable Speaker, and they should be fitted. So I would want to implore on you, Senator Miraj, to try and ensure that there are other players, so that the nomination and the induction of people into the Hall of Fame is seen to be fair and is seen to be independent of the serving executive. And maybe, because it has always been the case, even for the Judicial Service Commission, there are people who are brought outside the mainstream, people who are judicial officers, Madam Speaker, sorry. So you may want to nominate other people outside the people who have been, who are direct appointees of governors, Honorable Speaker, so that they can be able to look at the people who are to be fitted, and they can be able to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I want to thank you, Madam Speaker, and see that.
Senator Beatrice Oyong.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to support from the word onset the bill that has been presented by my sister, Senator Miraj. Madam Speaker, you and me are part of a committee that has started that journey even before this bill comes in. In our community, where we are all members, it tickled me yesterday, Madam Speaker, that there was a scuffle around yourself, Madam Speaker, that at one point, Madam Speaker, there is claim about you from Busia, from Kakamega. We are also laying claim to yourself. And so, Madam Speaker, I celebrate women because women are special creatures. Madam Speaker, you and me, as I've said, have started an initiative called Nyinam, where we have begun to honor great, outstanding women from our community that is not limited to leadership alone, but it is so diverse that we are going out to single out ladies from the sports areas, from the business community, as low as the small business women that are doing outstanding work. From the women, elitist women, we have professors, from the music industry, from the writers, the journalists, and all of it. So, Madam Speaker, you and me, this is something that is not new to us. And at the end of this year, on the 5th and 6th of the December, we'll be having such a similar congregation in Busia County, where we will be celebrating women from our community, and we'll be doing the same honor that we are talking about here. Honorable Madam Speaker, as I rise here, I'm from Homa Bay County. We have been presenting our candidates on Kasipul by-election, Madam Speaker. And that is one candidate in the name of Boyd Were that should really go into this list of Hall of Fame. Madam Speaker, is going to be an MP, and is going to be one of the youngest MPs Homa Bay County is going to give a Gen Z MPs. And I call upon all the young people and everybody else to prepare to support our candidate, Honorable Boyd Were. I say he's going to be part of this, this County Hall of Fame list because of his age. Madam Speaker, I support this bill because through this bill, we are going to preserve, and not only preserve, but protect a number of individuals within our counties that have made outstanding and exceptional, and illustrious in any profession or activity. Madam Speaker, we have a number of such people in our communities. And I want to say from the word go, Madam Speaker, that we must relook at the selection committee. I want to say that it should not be an elitist selection committee. It should not even be fully constituted with public officers, but I want to suggest that Senator Miraj considers bringing in other people that may not be public officers in our counties, may not even be professionals, but they have a memory, they have an institutional memory of the people and the outstanding activities and the outstanding deeds that a number of people have done in the county. So, Madam Speaker, back in my constituency, we have outstanding people like Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia is my great-great-great-grandfather-in-law, Madam Speaker. So that is why we even have him named after the famous Gor Mahia football team. But these are the kind of people that must go into this list. This was a paramount chief in my family and in my community. This is a man, call it magical or mythical, but this is a man who had outstanding attributes to him. Madam Speaker, this is a man whom, if you are going after him in a battle, he would turn to any animal and escape all the enemies that were coming for him. And Madam Speaker, what is more outstanding than that as a community, in our community? So people like Gor Mahia would not fail to go into this list. I have an example of a teacher who taught me, Madam Speaker. People think that you must do so much outrageous, outstanding deeds. Madam Speaker, Mother Teresa said that it is doing something outstanding in a simple way. One teacher that taught me geography in A levels sometimes back called Ongoro Guy. This is a man who would be a marking scheme for examiners. When teachers exams had been given, all regional exam of geography, and Ongoro Guy, the late, may his soul rest in peace, would sit and set the marking scheme off head. Madam Speaker, these are the kind of people that must be considered. And Madam Speaker, some of these people we are talking about, the knowledge of these people cannot only be limited to public officers. Madam Speaker, you know, public officers sometimes just come to a county to work, and they might not have very deep history of the places. Madam Speaker, we have one famous or outstanding musician that came at a time when this country was ravaged by HIV. That is a lady who did not even go to school. She was called Alile Nyagena. That is a lady who came from Ndiwa constituency. And she led a campaign through her songs, which was celebrated everywhere, that helped to really alleviate and was really ahead in public education against HIV in my community and the Luo community as a whole. That is not only limited to Luo, but it is in all the communities and in all the counties, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have outstanding people like the late Chief Otuoma Randiek of a clan called Kabuai. Those are people who would rightly get into the books that would be captured by this bill, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I support this because it's going to help us to preserve and protect our cultures, which reflects on our identity of a people, and which we really must be very proud of, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I support this bill, and as I take a step back, I would only like the mover to relook at the selection committee in terms of its constitution, the constitution of the selection committee, which must not only cover or majorly consist of public officers and must not be elitist, as I say, but Madam Speaker, this is something we should have done like yesterday. Madam Speaker, I support.
I now call upon the mover to reply.
Asante Bi Spika kwa fursa hii adhimu ya kuweza kurejesha majibu ya mswada wangu huu wa kumbi ya umaarufu, na ni wazi ya kwamba ukumbi wa umaarufu ni wazo ambalo muda wake umefika. Niwashukuru maseneta wenzangu wote wakiongozwa na kiongozi wa wengi kwa kuchangia katika mswada huu na kunipa fursa Bi Spika ya kuweza kwenda kutia nyama yale mapendekezo ambayo niliyasoma jana hapa. Kwa hakika Bi Spika, nimekuwa nafuatilia kwa makini changizo za maseneta wenzangu na nakubaliana nao ya kwamba tuupatilize udongo ungali maji, kwa sababu tutakapowaachia baadhi ya watu kidogo tu ambao tayari ni maafisa wa serikali kuweza kuwa katika ile kamati ya uteuzi, kutaenda kuwa na sintofahamu, na kama alivyochangia Seneta Biogola ya kwamba tunapowaachia tu wafanyikazi wa gatuzi ama gavana, kutakuwa na kule kupendeleana kisiasa, na pia kwamba sio wote wanaofanya kazi katika gatuzi zetu wako na ile historia ya pale mahali ambapo wanafanya kazi. Kwa hivyo nimelinukuu hilo na nitahakikisha kwamba nimelifanyia kazi. Bi Spika, pia niweze kumshukuru Seneta wa Nandi kwa changizo yake ambayo aliweza kutufahamisha wapi lile kovu la kichwa ya marehemu Koitalel Arap Samoei pale lilipo, na tutahakikisha wakati tunaweza kuupitisha mswada kama huu, tunakwenda kuchukua kama taifa mabaki yale ya shujaa wetu na yaweze kupatikana katika kumbi hiyo ambayo itakuwa maeneo ya Nandi. Pia niweze kushukuru changizo ya Seneta Eddie Okech ya kwamba ipo umuhimu na ipo haja ya kwamba tuiweze kuioanisha huu mswada na yale mengine mengi ambayo yanaenda kutambulisha taifa letu ili kuleta watalii katika nchi yetu. Bi Spika, kama tulivyoweza kuzungumza ya kwamba kando na kuwa tunaenda kuhifadhi ama kuwashangilia mashujaa wetu katika kumbi hizi, pia tutaweza kuwatoa kulingana na vile ambavyo watajibeba baada ya kuwekwa na kusherekewa katika kumbi hizi. Hii ni kumaanisha ya kwamba wewe kuwekwa jina lako ama kuwekwa historia ya jamii yako haimaanishi ya kwamba unapobadilisha mwenendo wako hautaweza kuondolewa. Pia niweze kudokeza wale ambao hawakuweza kuwa hapa ya kwamba kulikuwa na pendekezo kutoka kwa Seneta Ososi kutoka kule Vihiga ya kwamba tuweze pia kuwatambua kando na wasomi, kando na watu maarufu, wapo watu ambao wamekuwa wakitupatia huduma katika gatuzi zetu, watu ambao wamefanya kazi zao kwa umahiri na ushujaa wa hali ya juu. Kwa mfano nitatoa pale Bondeni, shule ya wasichana ya Bondeni, tulikuwa tunauziwa ice cream na bwana mmoja akiitwa Mwa, na mpaka leo miaka 15 20 baada ya sisi kusoma tunaona ya kwamba bwana kama yule yuko. Kwa hivyo basi ukumbi huu hautakuwa tu wa kuwasherehekea wasomi, madaktari, bali utawasherehekea pia wale wakulima wetu ambao wameweza kuendelea kulilisha taifa letu. Hivyo basi niweze kukomea hapo Bi Spika, na kwa mujibu wa kanuni ya kudumu ya nambari 66.3 ya Seneti, niombe kuhairishwa kwa swali la hoja hii. Asante Bi Spika.
The putting of the question is so deferred. Honorable Senators, I'll now reorganize the order paper and I wish to defer order number 9 and move on to order number 10.
Order number 10, the County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bills number 3 of 2024, second reading.
Senator Ledama.
Thank you, Ms. Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to move that the County Oversight and Accountability Bill be read a second time. Madam Speaker, this is a bill. This is a bill that I worked on in the last Parliament. Moved the bill. The bill was seconded, and the bill proceeded to the National Assembly. But because of time, the bill lapsed in the National Assembly. So I'll try to be very, very brief to be able to outline the main aim of this bill. This bill, Madam Speaker, it is a bill which aims to provide a national framework for senatorial oversight of county governments, particularly regarding the allocation, collection, use, and management of public finance at the county level. The bill seeks to establish a mechanism for effective oversight of county government operations to improve efficient economy and accountability, in line with the Constitution of Kenya 2010. This bill, Madam Speaker, mandates senators to establish oversight offices in counties, engage public participation, and monitor compliance with constitutional provisions and national legislations on public finance. The bill enhances the Senate role in guarding national government funds allocated to counties and promote participatory democracy by involving the public in executive decision-making process. Madam Speaker, every year, county governments led by county governors publish county budgets. These budgets are normally defined by the interest of each governor's manifesto. And you'll find that in most cases, citizens, and this is because we do not have a piece of legislation that directs clear public participation. In the last Parliament, Madam Speaker, the Senate attempted, and in fact, the former distinguished senator who was the Attorney General Emeritus, Attorney Wako, is the one who was sponsoring that bill on public participation. That bill had also been sponsored by, I believe, the former senator of Baringo, she was Gideon Moy. But the bill on public participation did not see the light of day. And that is why we're having a lot of problems. Now, when you find that county governors develop budgets, most of these budgets, when they're developed, citizens do not know what is entailed in these budgets. Narok County, Madam Speaker, has got 30 wards. We had a big debate on what the MCAs were calling ward development funds. Citizens did not understand what these ward development funds were all about. In fact, in most cases, people equated them with the CDF fund, where people get money to be able to do their projects, and in the process, they line their pockets. This bill that I'm proposing, Madam Speaker, is a bill that helps citizens participate in the budget-making process, for them to be able to understand what it is that they need in their ward. And that is why in this bill, Madam Speaker, the good senator of Elgeyo Marakwet and myself, Senator Kisang, who is an IT specialist, saw it fit to reintroduce this bill again in this Parliament and ensure that we propose the setting up of county halls, where in these county halls, governors, CCM Finance can be able to go and call people to come in and listen to the manifesto or to the finance bill or to the budget of these governors. Carry out public participation so that citizens do not go out and say, we don't know what is happening. These halls will also assist senators be able to meet with their constituents. In fact, I dare say, Madam Speaker, that this bill is the one that defines the clear oversight role of the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. This bill, when I was thinking about this bill, I looked at Article 96 of the Constitution of Kenya. What does Article 96 say? Why is it important for us as a Senate to be able to oversight the county funds that we send? Why is it important, Madam Speaker, for the citizens also to play a role in oversighting the resources which are sent to the counties? And the answer is very simple. It is important so that all of us can be able to develop. Madam Speaker, devolution is something which is very dear to me. This bill, Madam Speaker, strengthens devolution, because there will be no single ward or no single citizen who will be able to come and say that my ward was allocated X amount of money, but it was not implemented, because they will be part and parcel of the process of implementing everything that has been budgeted for. One of my biggest pet peeves, Madam Speaker, is called supplementary budgets. Every year, the national government, the county government, they carry out several supplementary budgets. And why do they do that? Because the citizens do not understand the power that the Constitution has given them to be able to oversight their county governments. So, Madam Speaker, one of the biggest benefits that this bill will be able to bring to devolution is that it will strengthen not only the oversight bodies, but it will also strengthen devolution. Madam Speaker, we all talk about transparency and accountability of the funds that we send to counties. We spent hours and hours, Madam Speaker, agonizing on the revenue formula, talking about the division of revenue, and fighting with the national government so that we can send more money to our counties. Today, Madam Speaker, there's a huge debate on the GEP, is it the e-procurement system, which is being proposed by the national government. A debate encroaching into the territory of the county governments, which are semi-autonomous, as per Article 176 of the Constitution, Article 179, and I believe Article 6 of the Constitution, which sets up county governments as semi-autonomous from national government. This bill, Madam Speaker, will also put up a clear framework on which governors can be able to use, even when it comes to procurement, because the citizens will be part and parcel of the whole process. Madam Speaker, in summary, because I can see time is running and I'd like to invite my colleague to be able to second this bill. The main purpose of this bill is to reinforce the Senate oversight powers over county governments, support effective devolution by enhancing financial accountability and promoting participatory governance that benefit both county administration and the nation as a whole through improved service delivery and public trust. Today, there's no transparency in budget-making process in the counties. Zero transparency, Madam Speaker, I dare say. With this bill, when this bill becomes law, each and every of the 47 counties will be now required to set up public participation halls. Madam Speaker, we have a lot of cases in our courts today where people go and argue that there was no public participation. There'll be no room for that anymore, because there'll be a hall similar to this. When I grew up, Madam Speaker, I lived in the States. And my town of Concord, Massachusetts, whenever there was a matter that needed to be discussed by the mayor of that town, it would be brought to the town hall. People will go there, they will vote on it, they will discuss, and then the policymakers will now be given an opportunity to go and then, put it in the language that the policymakers understand. In the 21st century, in Kenya today, this being the third Senate, and where we are all just arguing about the role of the Senate, I think this bill will clarify all that, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with those few remarks, I beg to move and request the good Senator of Elgeyo Marakwet, Senator Kisang, to second.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to second this very important bill, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is important to note that this is the third Senate since the new Constitution was enacted And secondly, Madam Speaker, this is the 13th cycle of budget, 2012, 2013, all the way to 2025, 26, Madam Speaker. And it is good to note that generally most of our constituents in the counties, Madam Speaker, do not know about the budget cycle. That is why Senator Leteme in the last parliament saw it fit that it is important that we ensure our people know and they're involved in the budget process at the county level, Madam Speaker. And then how do you involve the people? You need some facility where the people know this is the place that we can meet with the counties. This is the place we can meet even with the senators when we have our engagements with them, Madam Speaker, on oversight. That is why the first important thing to do, Madam Speaker, is to set up facilities in each of our wards so that, Madam Speaker, when these engagements are there, Madam Speaker, we will be able to meet the people, Madam Speaker. I know National Assembly, they have also public participation, Madam Speaker, in the counties. They do some target some pilot counties, move around, and they meet at the county headquarters. For 7 county, 1,200 and something wards, Madam Speaker, if the governor of Elgeyo-Marakwet County wants to meet the people and the CEC for Finance wants to tell the people what needs to be done, where will they meet the people, Madam Speaker? That's why we have said we need to set resources aside, and each of our wards, we put up a hall, Madam Speaker, so that at the beginning of each financial year, Madam Speaker, you move around, you advertise. This is where you are going to meet the populace of the wards. Let them keep proposals. I know the executive will give a proposal that this is what we want to do for you, but also the people needs to agree. Because for the last 12 years, Madam Speaker, I want to speak about my county. We have what we call Equitable Development Act. And this particular act, Madam Speaker, has done great things for the people. But at the same time, Madam Speaker, there are many things that we have missed because we have done small projects. If we involve the people and tell the people, we guide that in this particular award, Madam Speaker, we want to put up a facility like an health center worth, say, 30 or 40 million, Madam Speaker. You engage the people and discuss with the people. I believe they will agree with the executive. But where do you meet the people? You need somewhere where it is gazetted, Madam Speaker, as a facility. Madam Speaker, if you go to part 2 of this particular bill, Madam Speaker, you will see, Madam Speaker, the oversight and public participation programs for this particular bill, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know in the past we have not been involved, especially in the budget-making process at the county level. But we are saying as senators, we need to be involved with the revenues that are sent by the national government using the shareable formula, Madam Speaker. We also have our own source of revenue, Madam Speaker, that are collected at the county level. But you see, during the budget-making process, we have not been able to oversight because we don't know when they are doing it. They are never advertised, Madam Speaker. But I'm happy, Madam Speaker, to know that even the little resources that we got recently, and we still get by the Senate has already picked some very important part of this bill, Madam Speaker, where the senators have been able to even appoint and employ 3 people from the counties to assist in oversighting, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you go to section clause 18 of the bill, where the Senate shall not employ a person under the subsection 3 unless that person, these are the qualifications of the people that will assist the senators to do oversight, Madam Speaker, and the qualifications are very clear. You need a graduate, you need somebody who has at least some knowledge in economics so that the senators can be assisted to do proper oversight, Madam Speaker. And what is also very important, you go to section 19, Madam Speaker, clause 19. Our people don't even know how to access information. But this bill, Madam Speaker, is clearly spelling if a citizen wants to get access of information from the county governments. This bill is very clear. The county executive committee member and the clerk of the respective county assembly shall give and maintain the information relevant to the allocation of monies, collection of revenue, and such other information in the facilities of the respective county, and shall upon request avail the information to a member of the public. You go to that particular social hall, raise your issue. I believe there'll be boxes for comments and boxes for seeking of information, so that, Madam Speaker, these people, our constituents within the counties, get proper information, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this is an overdue bill. I know it lapsed in the last parliament. That's why we are asking members in this particular session, Madam Speaker, that we speed it up so that, you know, there is that tendency of individual member bills being discussed, and then after a while, when they go to National Assembly, they lapse. So I believe Senator Latema and myself now, we need also to lobby our colleagues in National Assembly, and then we look for people who can co-sponsor, so that we get co-sponsors, Senator Latema, in National Assembly, so that they can champion and also discuss with the House Business Committee of Senate and the House Business Committee of National Assembly to fast track. You know, they are very important bills that will benefit our people. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to second.
Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the County Oversight and Accountability Bill, Senate Bills number 3 of 2024, be now read a second time. Senator Sifuna.
Madam Speaker, in the few remaining minutes, I wanted to make my contribution to the bill by Senator Ledamo Lekina. First of all, Honorable Speaker, my expectation of the bill would be to address the question of how we exercise oversight and accountability. Our oversight mandate is drawn from Article 96, Sub-Article 3, that talks about oversight of this House over the national resources that are sent to county governments. In fact, my expectation, Senator Ledama, was that given recent judicial pronouncements, we would use the opportunity that this bill presents to expand and capture what the courts have said about the mandate of this Senate, that it extends not only to the national revenue that has been sent to the counties under the equitable share, but that it also extends to the own source revenue of county governments. And indeed, we at the Public Accounts Committee, that is chaired very ably by the senator from Homa Bay, are discussing about the lack of visibility to the Senate of money that goes to our county governments through grants and donor funding. Then when it comes to accountability, Honorable Speaker, under Article 174A, it talks about accountable exercise of power, and I was hoping that we would use this opportunity the bill has presented to be able to enhance accountability at the lowest levels of government. Speaker, you know we are in Busia, and just yesterday we walked out with, I think it was Senator Wambua, and there were young men who were standing out there. They told us that, in fact, we have not provided sufficient facility for the public to access these conversations. There was a young man there who insisted that the powers that be around the Busia County Assembly, who know them and what they stand for, would not allow them to access this chamber. Now that the Senate has taken over, I think we need to make sure that at least tomorrow, these people are able to access the chamber. And those who saw the conversation that was happening out there, they were telling me, Sifuna, do you know that Cabro has been put yesterday because you guys were coming here? And that is what the bill that Senator Ledama is proposing is supposed to take care of. That public participation in the development of the country and the identification of priority projects should have been done, and the people should have been involved. It would really feel bad if the people of Busia think that some of the things that are happening in this town are only happening because the Senate is coming here. Because we are not residents of Busia, we are not permanent residents of Busia. We would want that things be done for them and in their name, because it is the resources of the people of Busia that are being utilized here. Honorable Speaker, the discussion around public participation, especially in allocation of resources in the county, has had me thinking about what really is the problem with public participation in this country. What are the real issues that surround public participation in this country? And if you look at the litigation that we have had so far, the problems that have been identified for why public participation is not effective is, number one, of course, the low levels of civic engagement by the public. People have their own hustles, they have their own jobs to go to. Sometimes they don't have opportunity to find or time to have these conversations. Number two, there is interference by the local politicians. Honorable Speaker, in fact, it has been alleged that when we as a House or even the County Assembly undertakes public participation, we drive the process in such a way that the people who are in that room most likely would want to agree with the people who facilitated them to attend those public participation forums. We have seen even in the impeachment of governors, where the requirement of public participation has been grossly abused. I remember one county, Honorable Speaker, when we were going through the forms there for public participation, and we could see that there were predetermined outcomes that the MCAs were pushing, and even signatures were being forced or forged, Honorable Speaker, to push certain ends. So for me, I am hoping, Senator Ledama, that in the process of enriching this bill, we can actually ask ourselves, what is the biggest problem with public participation? I was asking Senator from Homa Bay here, whether a public participation that happens under a tree is not effective public participation. Whether really the front loading of the venues of the conversation is the best solution or the solution to the actual problem when it comes to the question of public participation. And for me, we would want to tie this thing, the loose ends, by even ring fencing the process from political.
Honorable Senators, it's now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate therefore stands adjourned until 9th October 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Senator Sifuna will have a balance of 15 minutes to contribute to this bill.